Hello. I have a request for upper back, shoulders, neck relief in general. So I am going to offer you a practice here that includes MFR, myofascial release, to begin with. If you want to skip through that part, you only have time for the actual yoga poses, the physical stretching part of this practice. That works too. So upper back, shoulders, chest, and overall stress relief. I take requests, so this is to honor a request that a friend had for this area of the body. So feel free, if you're on Facebook and you follow me there, Everybody Everywhere Yoga, you can make requests at any time. If you don't have Facebook but you have Instagram and you want to directly message me there, you can. Or if you have my personal phone number, feel free to reach out and let me know any of your requests. So today, this morning, this evening, whenever you're watching this, we will address that area here. So what you'll need is a yoga block, preferably the larger size. Some are a little bit narrower when it's on the short setting here, but if you have one that is this size, that would be great. They're really inexpensive. You can get them from Target, Walmart, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. So yoga block, and then tennis balls, a set of 2 tennis balls, or if you have massage balls, these are silicone massage balls from radroller.com, R-A-D roller.com. Highly recommend their tools for myofascial release. And then, but tennis balls will work just fine for our purposes today. And then I have 2 large bath towels that are stacked on each other and then folded into about a rectangle here. We'll use that at the very end of our practice today. So have those ready. You can also use a yoga blanket if you do have a yoga blanket. And a yoga mat. What else do we need? Yourself. Okay. So we're gonna actually start right away with MFR. Like I said, I'll do that. MFR for the neck and shoulders, pecs, and lats, and then upper middle back, or the rhomboid area to start. This will last probably for the first 10 or 15 minutes. So again, if you want to skip through and go straight to some of the traditional yoga poses, cat, cow, and that kind of thing, that I will be attacking, then feel free to do that. So hopefully you can see this okay on your video, but we're going to start with the yoga block on the small setting and running parallel along the spine the long way here. And we're going to start with the neck. So I'm going to lay my neck right down on the front edge of that mat. And if you want a more specific and longer explanation of MFR for the neck, I do have another video posted, so feel free to go to that at any time too. It's just related to the neck, and then I have one just related to the shoulder area, the lats and the pecs, and so I'll be including both of those into this video and probably not be getting as specific as I have on those videos. So starting knees bent, just roll on down, adjusting the block as needed. I'm going to gently shove the front edge of that block until up into my cervical spine and just wherever it stops here. And I feel a sneeze coming on, excuse me. Let's rest the arms comfortably here, head heavy resting on the top of the block, and then just staying in stillness if that's best, or rock side to side. So there's gentle pressure just going into that area of the spine where the block meets the neck. And you can roll as far right and left as feels good here. I'm just going to do this for about 30 seconds. And then when you feel about balanced out on both sides, go ahead and come back to center, keeping the head heavy on the block. I'm going to lengthen out my legs now, and that just shifted my neck about maybe even a centimeter is all. And that's okay. It's a different enough location to also then massage out that area to hydrate the tissues, the fascia that surrounds the cervical spine, and all those muscles up in the neck. Not all of them, but the area around the cervical spine, but then also we're going to reach up into the occipital area next. So again, I'm rocking my head side to side, keeping the jaw relaxed here. And the breath even, whatever even means for you, just be mindful of the breath. And then there, after about 30 or so seconds, I'm going to rebend my knees, plant the feet, and then reach back for the block, lift the head. I'm going to switch it to its medium setting and then spin it around. So it was like this. Now I'm spinning it and flipping it up to that medium setting. The front edge of the block will land kind of right underneath the base of the skull. And then again, doing the same thing here, rocking the head side to side gently to hydrate the fascia, to anti-inflame the fascia, that webbing of tissue that surrounds muscles, that runs throughout our whole body. And by hydrating it, we can increase range of motion, hopefully lessen pain if you have pain, chronic pain, generally speaking. So then, finishing there, and just take a breath here in stillness. And feel free to do that even longer if you'd like to. For our purposes right now, we're going to continue to move on. We're going to go right into the shoulder area here. So I'm going to just turn to the side, whatever side to start with. I'm going to keep it on this medium setting and then rest my armpit right down onto the block here, resting my head in the grounded or the bottom hand. Find a spot you may need to adjust a little bit, but most of that pressure, and again, I have this video more specifically posted in the MFR for the shoulder area, right in the base of the armpit, so up into the outer pectoral major muscle back toward the lat is where you're going to feel the front edge of that block putting the gentle pressure. And so once I've found a decent spot here that feels good for me, I'm gonna rock forward and back. However far forward and back feels good for you. Again, keep that jaw nice and relaxed. Be aware of the breath. If at any time anything with MFR or yoga for that matter causes any pain, just don't do it. Go on to something else. No reason to force things, right? So after I've done this for about 30 seconds or so, if it feels good to go longer, go longer. I'm going to gently lift off enough to flip the block over to its small setting. And then right under the humeral head of the shoulder here, so not on the bone, but maybe right below, or if you find a nice spot there on that deltoid muscle, lean right into that. Again, stay in stillness here, or you might rock a little bit forward and back. So the main request here was upper back, shoulders, chest, actually. I think I said neck, but it's all connected, right? So I want to do MFR on the neck, shoulder area, and upper back to just take care of all of it. And then when that's finished over there, lift on up gently. We're gonna switch sides. So whatever side you started with, let's do the opposite side. Medium setting. And rest right down into that armpit. Base of the armpit is what's mostly gonna come in contact with the front edge of that block. Find a spot, start to rock forward and back. And at any time, feel free to pause the video and stay longer with an area if it feels like that's what your body needs. Good, and then when that is sufficient, I'm going to lift up just enough, flip the block over to that small setting, and right under the humeral head, put a little pressure down into the outer shoulder area. And as always, stay in stillness if you'd like, or rock forward and back, add a little movement, whatever feels good here. Jaw relaxed. Good, and then I'm gonna lift off here, and then we're going to go toward the upper middle back. So go ahead and reach for, have the block within reach. Go ahead and grab onto your tennis balls or massage balls here. And you can do this one of two ways. You can set the balls down about where you think that space right between the shoulder blades will be. So right up and in between the shoulder blades, sort of high up in between the kind of the tops of the shoulder blades. So again, you can either place the balls there, or if you want to come down first and then reach behind and kind of roll your balls into that position, that will work too. So that block I like to have, you can either just hold your head in your hands, or I like to, on the medium setting, rest my head right on the blocks. So it's kind of difficult to see, but those balls are placed right between the tops of the shoulder blades. And I'm just going to take a couple breaths here in stillness and just rest on those massage balls. And then you can even stay here in stillness. Or lifting the hips might put a little bit more pressure deep into the upper middle back. That's an option. Stay here longer if that feels good. Or you can also lower the hips, resting the hips back down on the mat, and then add movement with the arms. So I'm going to circle, kind of rotate the shoulders, because those are connected down to the rhomboid muscles, which is about where those balls are placed. And then reverse the circles. It's a little bit massagey here. And then I'm going to scissor my arms across the front of my chest, back and forth. You may need to reposition those balls if they're running into anything that doesn't feel so good. And then a bit of air traffic control. Arms up and overhead and back down toward the hips. Really just any movement that might feel good. And then I give myself a hug across my chest and maybe even rock side to side, alternating the pressure that's going into either side on those massage balls or tennis balls. Good. I'm going to remove the block. And then sometimes I like to even just hold on to my head and then lift the hips and roll up and down on the balls a little bit here to get a little bit of massage there. Maybe until the balls separate from each other or move around a bit. Good. And then come on up to seated. Good. So find a seated position that feels good for you here. You can set those balls off to the side. We will no longer be using them, and then block off to the side for now. I'm going to give you a side view. I like to sit up on my, actually I'm going to start with a front view here. I'm going to sit up on my heels. Feel free to sit on your bum if that feels better. Then we're going to add movement to those areas that we just rolled out here. So relax the shoulders, arms can be next to the sides or resting on the lap, lifting gently through the spine, chin starting parallel to the mat. And then just let that left ear tip toward the left shoulder here. Option to bring the inner arm, one of the hands over to the side of the face that's tipped down or to the side that's up toward the sky. Not necessarily pulling down on the head, but just letting the extra weight of the hand add a deeper stretch only if you want it here. Jaw relaxed, tuning into the breath here. I'm going to release that hand and then start to just move my chin around in any direction that feels good, mostly staying over toward that left side as I add movement to stretch out the different muscles of the right side of the neck. So again, taking your time here, and if you feel like you want to spend more time than what I'm giving you on this particular video, hit pause at any time. So any movement that feels good, and then when you're ready, lift that head back to center, and then tip down toward the right shoulder. And do about the same on this side. Maybe add the extra gentle weight of the hand on the top side, or what has become the top side of the face. Remember to keep your jaw relaxed. I'm going to release my hand and then start to add movement here over on this side. Any movement that feels good, that starts to loosen up, bringing life to those muscles on the left side of the neck. And then when you're ready, gently lifting the head back to center, lifting again through the spine, and changing your seated position at any time if you need to. We're going to move into some movement for the shoulder area, the pecs and the lats that we did some myofascial release on as well. So whichever arm, I'm going to turn a little bit so I don't hit the couch. Whichever arm, go ahead and start to draw circles with the hand. Just about 4 or 5 circles here on this side, and then reverse directions of those circles, staying on the same arm. Good, and then palm facing forward, we're going to lift up and overhead toward the other side of the body. So my right is going left. Get that lat stretched out. Good, and then bring your arm up as if it's resting on a high shelf. Little bend to the elbow, and we're going to go forward and back. That'll release and stretch and move that pec that way, lat this way, right? Good, and let's go to the other side. Arm circles, whichever direction to start. And then reverse directions. Good, and then palm facing forward, arm hanging down next to that side there, and then up and overhead to the other side. Jaw relaxed. And then lift that left arm, or whichever arm you're on, as if it's setting palm face down on a high shelf, and we'll go forward and back. And again, more specifically, you can listen to that other video that's specific to the shoulder area MFR. Good, good. And then go ahead and roll the shoulders. Both of them, reversing directions when you're ready. Good, and then bring those arms out in front of the shoulders like you're holding a beach ball between the arms. We're gonna inhale, reach away, and then exhale, press the shoulder blades back and toward each other. Inhale, reach away. Exhale, reach back. One more time, inhaling, reach away. Exhale, press back. And then relax, shimmy out those shoulders. Reach the arms behind, straightening out the arms. Reach the fingertips back, open up the chest here. Stay right here if you'd like to clasp the hands, and then straighten out the arms, that's an option. And then maybe if you want to, if it feels good, move the neck around a little bit, side to side, or gentle neck rolls, whatever you like. And we'll come into eagle arms here. So again, change your seated position if this is becoming too much to sit on the heels. Arms out to a T. Draw that right arm under the left in front of the chest and twist into eagle arms. Another option, if the right fingertips are not resting in the left palm, you could also bring the palms to the tops of the shoulders. Gently lift, or just kind of barely lift the elbows up and away from the chin a bit. Take a good couple deep breaths here, opening up that space between the shoulder blades back there. Jaw relaxed. One more deep inhale here. And on your next exhale, slowly release the arms, shimmy shoulders if you need to. And then when you're ready, bring those arms up to a T again. Left arm now comes under the right, twisting into, again, full expression of a traditional eagle arms, or even bring palms to shoulders, okay? Lift the chin or the elbows up and away from the chin a bit. Take a couple good deep breaths here. Jaw relaxed. One more deep inhale. And exhale, release. Wiggle, shimmy, whatever you like here. And then coming into cow face arms. I'm going to turn around here. Many options with cow face arms. Lift that right arm up, turn the palm sort of back, and then pat yourself on the back. Maybe hugging that right upper arm in toward the right side of the face. Stay long through the spine, so we're not necessarily curving forward in order to do that, but stay long, seated tall here. Stay right here. Or bring that front hand to help guide that top elbow back. And reach up for the clothes, hold on to the clothes there. You can even use a strap or a belt if you like that, have one handy, or reach the left hand up to reach the right fingertips here. Just one more inhale. And exhale. Release. Left arm up, turn the palm back, so internally, nope, externally rotating the arm. And then pat yourself on the back. Hug that upper arm in toward the left side of the face. Stay lifted through the spine. And any variation, right hand can kind of guide the left elbow to stay kind of upward and back, or reach around here in any shape or form that works for you. Taking just a couple more breaths here. And then on your exhale, slowly release. Good, good. So now we're going to move a little bit more down into the spine. Cats and cows especially, a lot of times we focus on the pelvis and the whole spine, but since we're specifically focusing on the upper back and shoulder area here, I'm just going to really have you focus on, in our cats and cows, the rounding and then the extending of that upper middle back, okay? So planting the hands, spread wide the fingers, externally rotate the arms, press into the palms. And then actually we can do some scapular push-ups. So think about, now gravity is different. We were doing what would be a scapular push-up by inhaling, reaching away as the shoulder blades kind of open up back there. And then as we exhale, we would press back, shoulder blades kind of come together. So think about that now as we face the mat, pressing up, so the shoulder blades are sort of spreading apart. And then sink the chest down a little bit as the shoulder blades reach toward each other. Okay, so press away, rounding the upper back, and then let the chest sink down. Just back and forth. Gravity a little different. Good, and then come back to that neutral spine, and we'll come into our cats and cows. Inhaling to cow, think about reaching and extending the spine here. And then exhale, round the spine, press into the palms, tuck the chin, and tuck the tailbone. Inhaling to cow. Exhale, round the spine to cat. Maybe even add some extra movement to either your cats and or your cows if you'd like to. Continue here for a few more rounds. And then when you're ready, just make your way back to that neutral tabletop. So now we're going to come into a plank. A plank will help strengthen the shoulder area, okay? Keep those arms externally rotated. Extend the right leg back, press into the right forefoot, and then do the same with the left. Pressing into the mat with the palms. And breathe here. Jaw relaxed. One more inhale, and then on your exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Think about pressing down and forward into the palms and relax the neck here. Jaw relaxed, breathing here. And then on your next inhale, shift the shoulders back forward, coming into a plank. Lower the knees. And then let's come down to the forearms here. Okay, you can either bring the palms together. I wonder if this will be better to see from this side. You can either bring the palms together here and roll toward the outer forearms. Or some people like to, we're gonna prepare for dolphin here. Some people like to bring palms down and arms, forearms parallel. So you find what works best for you. I'm gonna tuck the toes. Once you've situated, elbows are pretty much directly below the shoulders. Or whatever width will feel good, a little bit beyond that if that helps. Tuck the toes, press down and into the forearms, down and forward into the forearms. Lift those hips when you're ready. So it's like a forearm downward facing dog, a dolphin pose. Press again down and forward into the forearms to help lengthen out the spine.
reaching the hips up and back, relaxing the neck. Your forehead may graze the top of your mat, that's okay. Jaw relaxed, breathing here. And then slowly lower the knees down. And then again, we're going to press into the forearms. Option to have the arms parallel to each other and do a forearm plank. So extend the left leg back, press down and into the toes. And extend the right leg back, press down and into the toes. Press down and into the forearms. Jaw relaxed. And breathing here. One more inhale. And exhale, lower the knees. Good, walk up to the hands. And then let's stretch a couple more things out here. Shoulders, upper back area. And we're already making our way toward that final relaxation, which will be a supported pose, restorative pose that you can stay in as long as you'd like. But before we get there, let's go ahead and walk up onto the fingertips and walk those hands out. We're going to lower into extended puppy pose. So lowering the chest down toward the mat, maybe resting the chest all the way down on the mat, or maybe resting the chin, nose, or forehead. Hips are still up. You can even tuck the toes if you would rather. Whatever you like. Take a few breaths here. And then slowly start to walk the hands back into that neutral tabletop. Feel free to exercise a couple cats and cows. And then come back to that neutral tabletop position. Inhale the left arm up and over to the side. Exhale, thread the needle. Come down on that left shoulder. Rest the left side of the face down. Extend the right arm as far forward as feels good for that right shoulder. Let the chest relax and be heavy toward the mat. Jaw relaxes. And breathe here. And then we'll stay right here for the most part, but add maybe a deeper twist to that upper middle back, the thoracic spine. So we'll inhale, slide the right palm back, and then as you exhale, gently press into the right palm, twisting that chest open toward the right edge of your mat here. And you can press into that right palm as much as feels good for the twisting of the spine. One more inhale here, and then as you exhale, press yourself on up to all fours. Go ahead with another couple cats and cows. And then returning to that tabletop, inhaling, right arm up and over to the side. Exhale, thread the needle, resting down on the right shoulder. Extending the left arm as far forward as feels good here. Let the chest hang heavy, relax toward the mat. Breathe here. And then to add that twist, if you'd like to, inhale, draw the left palm back, and then exhale, press into the palm, twisting the chest open toward the left edge of the mat. Take one more inhale here and then use your exhale. Gently press back up to all fours. Another couple cats and cows. Breathing along with the movement here. And then come back to neutral, bring the legs together and sit back into child's pose. I'm going to do the version that kind of brings traction to the spine a little bit. For me, that means releasing the arms back and alongside the legs, letting the shoulders really just droop and relax here. Rest the forehead down on the mat or blankets or a block if the floor is too far away. And let's take a few really good deep breaths here. Deep inhales as it travels down the spine, expanding the lungs, expanding the rib cage in all directions here. And then on your exhale, fully releasing down heavily toward the mat. A few more good deep breaths, deep, full, long inhales. And bring those palms up underneath the shoulders. Gently press yourself up when you're ready. And then go ahead and reach for those blankets if you have them, the towels if you have them. We're gonna get out to this rectangle shape. And then as tightly and wrinkle-free as is possible, we're gonna roll this all the way up, these towels or your blankets. So this is to set us up for that restorative style chest opener that will also help release. It'll open up the chest pretty naturally and gently, and then also release the pectoral major muscles as well. So go ahead and set up your roll here. And then we're gonna sit right in front of the end of that blanket roll. We are not going to lift the hips or the bum up on the blanket roll at all. Those will all stay down on the mat. So let's start with knees bent. When you're ready, we're gonna come down on that blanket roll, just resting the spine all the way down right onto the blanket roll. Rest the head there. Your head will probably have a good space for a pillow. Arms along the sides, palms facing up. And then just to kind of get your bearings, you might use your shoulder blades to hug the blanket roll. Squeeze, find where you are, settle into a position. And then once you're kind of settled, you know where you are, you're balanced on that blanket roll. Then release the hug of the shoulder blades. Allow the fronts of the shoulders to just kind of droop and drop toward the mat, resting there. Think about the spine relaxing all the way from neck down through the sacrum, the tailbone area. Sometimes here I kind of, not on purpose, unintentionally, I'll add an extra arch to my lower back, but just let the blanket do the work here. So just rest the spine heavily onto that blanket roll. Now arms, you can keep them in this position or bring them more out to a T, or maybe somewhat goalpost or cactus arms, whatever feels good here. Whatever allows the chest to be open and relaxed. And then feel free to keep the legs, the lower body in this position, if that feels good. You might walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat, resting the knees together or toward each other in the center. You might walk the feet together and drop the knees out in sort of a butterfly position, with either the heels slid in close to the hips for a little bit more intense of a hip opener or hip release, Or you can even slide the heels a little further away, if that feels better, further away from the hips. And then another option is to completely lengthen out the legs toward the front corners of the mat. So find your option for where you will feel most comfortable, most supported. And then once you've settled in, take a deep inhale here. On your exhale, fully release. It's like our exhale communicates to the rest of the body to let go and to settle in. Relaxing the jaw, feel free to close the eyes here as you soften through the facial muscles. Letting go now of any grip you might feel you still have, any flexing or squeezing of any muscle groups. Just take advantage of this time to rest and restore. I encourage you, if you'd like to tune into the breath, to practice a nasal breath, gently closing the mouth, sending every exhale and inhale through the nose. And then even beginning to lengthen out your inhales and your exhales, slowing down the breath. I encourage you to stay here as long as you see fit. And if you would like to begin to wrap up your practice along with me now, just begin to tune back into the breath, becoming aware of your inhales again and your exhales. Beginning to wiggle fingers and toes, reintroducing small movements back into the body, moving the ankles and the wrists. Maybe opening the mouth wide a couple times to stretch open the jaw if that feels good. Maybe gently looking side to side to reawaken the neck. Bringing larger movements into the arms and the legs as you're ready, taking your time. Bending up the knees. And then very gently rolling to one side of the body. You'll automatically just roll right off that blanket roll, resting the head in or near the hands or arms for another couple breaths here. Planting down that top hand, take another inhale and then use the strength of your exhale to gently press yourself up. Coming into a comfortable seated position on your mat. You can even sit up on that blanket roll if you'd like to lift the hips a bit above your knees. Tilting the pelvis forward, most of the weight resting down and into probably the shins if the legs are cross-legged. Gently lift through the spine, relax the shoulders. Tune into the breath. Relax the jaw. Rest the hands either in the lap or if you'd like the palms in heart center, feel free. Thank you for practicing with me. I thank the Lord Jesus himself for giving the energy to move and to breathe. In him we move and have our being. My prayer for you is that you experience both peace and restoration on your minds, your hearts, and your bodies. Thank you again for joining me, and may you be blessed with peace and joy. Namaste. Bye-bye.